The Community Television Consortium of Stark County presents this week's edition of What's Happening, the show about you, the people of Stark County. And now your host for tonight's program, Susie Vitale.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of What's Happening in Stark County. I'm Susie Vitale. Our first guest this evening is the curator of the McKinley Museum, Bill Weiss. And you're here a lot, and you always have something really interesting to talk about. This time we're going to be talking about Frank Thibeault. And for those of us who were mere children when Frank was in office, could you tell us who Frank Thibeault was?
Well, sure. And it's interesting because his longtime campaign slogan was Frank Thibeault, the man you know. So now you're asking to know him. And he was a very influential person, certainly in this area for a long time. He was a Canton attorney who also served as news director for WHBC Radio. But beginning with the election of 1950, he served 22 years as our representative of the 16th District in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Okay, and he did a really powerful job because you can tell from your exhibit. You want to talk about some of the photographs of him with some of the different people?
Certainly. Of course, anyone who was in Congress that long would have some influence, but what was unique about Frank is that he became the ranking Republican on the Appropriations Committee. And of course, holding the purse strings does make you very powerful. And as it turned out, in the 60s particularly, when Lyndon Johnson was president, there were so many volatile issues that the Democrats, even though they were in the majority in both houses, couldn't pass without Republican cooperation. And so it turns out that Johnson and Beau ended up becoming very close friends and political associates, even though they disagreed on several issues, but they both were willing to compromise.
Didn't he write on a picture? You're absolutely right, on a photograph.
Yes. In fact, the photo is a view of Frank shaking his finger at President Johnson, something that most people couldn't get away with.
Okay. What kind of items do you have?
Well, we were very, very fortunate in that Frank's son Joseph contacted us a couple of years ago about donating these items to the museum, and there's just a wide variety of photographs, pictures, and three-dimensional artifacts. But certainly some of the most interesting ones are the presidential pieces, and starting with Harry Truman and going all the way to, well, Jerry Ford, who, of course, became president after Beau's death, but they were good friends and close associates. So there are a lot of wonderful memorabilia related to all the presidents.
It really is. There's a lot of literature there, and I stopped by yesterday to see it, and a lot of campaign buttons, and there's even a paint-by-number photo or painting there.
Yes, and of course the subject is not surprising. It is an elephant, and Frank did collect elephants of all kinds, being a Republican, but he also had heart problems for several years, and that painting that you saw was one that he did while he was recuperating at Bethesda Naval Hospital from one of his heart attacks.
Do you want to show us the photograph that you brought?
Certainly. I did want to bring one along, and this is one that it's been used quite a bit because it was one of the favored ones of his staff and his family, because it showed him as everyone remembered him working at his desk with the ever-present pipe. And so this is one that the staff used frequently as a press release photo.
Now, how long can people stop over at the McKinley Museum and see this exhibition?
Well, we did open the exhibit basically for campaign season. We are in the fall congressional campaigns, and so it started in September and will go till mid-November after the November election.
Okay, now while I was upstairs looking at Frank Thibeault's exhibit, Joyce Yutt took me in to see another new exhibit there, and you were in charge, I believe, of or directed the refurbishing of the McKinley Room on the second floor of the museum. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, certainly it was, I don't want to take too much credit because it was a cooperative venture of a whole lot of staff and volunteers and board members and so forth. But we did want to reinterpret our McKinley Room, which is a permanent feature, and there were a great number of things we did to try to make it more accurate and to interpret the president's life more correctly. But the key feature certainly is the new animatronic figures. And animatronics is a term that confuses people, and we don't really want to say robots, but it's moving, talking, lifelike figures of Ida and William McKinley.
There's some kind of a sensor there so that when you walk up, they'll start and they start talking?
That's right. They're on a motion sensor. So as long as someone is in the room moving, they will continue. And at this point, there are 5 different subjects subjects that they discuss, and over time we can add more.
They really look lifelike. I mean, even their skin looks real, and they blink, and they're very lifelike. So where were they made?
Well, we're really proud. We have an Ohio president who was created by an Ohio company, and so the company is Life Formations, and they're located in Bowling Green, and they were started by a university professor there in Bowling Green, and in fact his whole staff is full of people who are very, very creative, and there's a person who actually does the sculpture work, and then of course they have the mechanical and the computer programming, so it's a team effort, and they all start from the beginning of the project and work through it as a team.
Okay, we've only got 30 seconds left. You've got to talk about the hat show really quickly. Do you want to give us the details?
Well, we certainly are having a hat show on Saturday the 5th of November, competing against the Massillon-McKinley football game at 1:30 that afternoon, but I know you're helping with it, and we're expecting it to be a nice event, and I believe deadline for reservation is the 31st of October.
Right, herbal teas, fancy cookies, lifetime hat collection. It's going to be a lot of fun. If anyone wants more information, what would be the phone number?
Our number is 455-7043.
Okay, a lot of good things to see. Thanks for coming this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Next up, we've got more. Stay with us. Our next guest is Judy Adams, who's the director of the First Friends Recovery Ministry, and you're here to talk about several different things. So first of all, let's talk about your John Geib series. And would you want to tell us who John Geib is?
Right. John is a professor over at Malone College in Biblical Studies, and occasionally he does a particular series for us, and starting next Wednesday, October 26th, will be an 8-week series, and we're calling it Standing with Christ Against Satan's Strategies. And this is on spiritual warfare. It's a study of the book of Ephesians. John's looking at sitting, standing, striding with Christ.
Now, this is for adults?
Yes.
Is there going to be child care provided?
Yes, we have a program on Wednesday nights we call Wednesday Workout, and that's spiritual fitness for the entire family. So we have programs for the children, youth, as well as electives for the adults.
Okay, and let's make it clear with all of the ministries of First Friends that you don't have to be a member of the First Friends Church. Okay, so this is open to the public. Is there any charge for this?
No.
Okay.
We will be taking an offering. That's optional, of course.
Okay, if people want information on this, what's the phone number that they would call?
They may call 492-6333.
Okay, and the next thing that we wanted to talk about was your Tough and Tender Love series, which is one of the many programs you have. What is Tough and Tender Love? Tough and Tender
Love is a class that we'll offer from 6 to 7, the same 8 weeks that John will be offering his class from 7 to 8:15. And Tough and Tender Love is offered by Brian Tyndall, who is from Oscar Associates, a Christian counseling group, and he's looking at really helping people understand tough and tender love. We get mixed up sometimes and struggle with when to be tough and when to be tender, and really seeing this from the biblical perspective, looking at such areas as husband-wife relationship, family relationships, the disciplines, our self-esteem, who we are in our relationship with God, and in communication with anybody and everybody.
So just about anybody could benefit from this class.
Exactly.
Now, how long of a period, what's the length of this class? Is it an hour?
An hour.
Okay.
So I'm calling it a double header because this is new. I haven't had a 6 and then a 7 with 2 guest presenters, but that's what we will be doing between now and the Christmas holidays.
Okay, and this is open to the public as well, and there's no cost. And it starts, what's the date it starts?
October 26th.
Okay, and it runs
through December 14th.
Okay.
That's Wednesday nights.
So you'll be done and knowledgeable by Christmas.
Right, right.
Okay, now you have so many different programs that we really need to maybe tell people some of the programs that you have available in case they're interested.
Okay. Another one that's offered on Wednesday nights is 12 Steps, a Spiritual Journey. And this is for anyone from a dysfunctional background, which is anything less than nurturing, which is almost everybody.
Exactly.
Some it's very severe, and others that we just know there's something that we need to deal with. And so that class is open to help people really work through some of the issues of the past and to really feel that they've accomplished the steps that need to be taken to become the best they can be.
Is this an ongoing class?
This class will run through spring, yes.
Can you join at any time, or do you need to get in at the beginning?
Well, it helps to begin at the beginning, which we've just started, so people can come in. And then we also have one at 8:30. That class starts at 6. We have an 8:30 12-step group that's ongoing that people can slip into anytime. But on the other side, on Sunday mornings, my husband and I offer a class called Celebrate Marriage. And we're emphasizing focusing on the positives of marriage, building our marriage, enhancing marriage, so that we don't have to deal with the divorces. But it's been exciting to see we have people all ages, newlyweds to 30-some years of marriage, really together working to have the best marriages that we can have.
Okay, we've got less than a minute. You want to mention another program?
Okay. We have Healing Hearts for those who are survivors of sexual abuse. That meets on Wednesday nights as well. We have our divorce recovery workshop, Confident Kids, Teens Breaking the Cycle, coming up. That's a 6 weeks on Friday nights. That's coming up November 4th through December 9th from 7:30 to 9:30 on Friday evenings.
Okay, and you have this really nice group of pamphlets that are available, so if someone's interested in these programs, they need information, you could send them out a pamphlet. What's the phone number people can call? People
may call us at 492-6333.
Okay, you're doing a good job there. Thanks for coming this evening.
Thanks.
Next up, we've got Morris Stewart. Our next guest is another good friend, David Culp. He's a social services supervisor at the Department of Human Services. And David, you're here to talk about some issues for voting, and I thought maybe you could explain to us what Issue 7 is.
Sure. Issue 7 is very simply the renewal of the Children's Services Levy that funds the investigation and treatment of child abuse and neglect in Stark County.
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, and the operative word here is that it is a renewal.
Okay.
And it is the renewal of the funds that were approved by Stark County voters 5 years ago.
Okay, now, as an overburdened taxpayer, why should I vote for Issue 7? Do you want to give me some encouragement to vote for this?
Well, one real obvious reason to vote for it is that it is not going to increase taxes.
It won't raise them.
It is a true renewal. Okay, so it is a renewal of what Stark County taxpayers have been paying for the past 5 years in order to protect abused and neglected children in Stark County. I think a very important reason to vote for this levy is simply because it is the bread and butter that helps our community protect its abused and neglected children and to treat their families as well.
Okay, now, could you kind of give us some examples as to what services that Issue 7 allows you to give now?
Certainly. There's an array of services that Human Services provides to families and children. Very simply, the investigation of child abuse and neglect is one of the services, as well as emergency responses to severe allegations of abuse and neglect where we can go out at a moment's notice. We also would be serving families by providing them with in-home supervision for children who are abused but can remain with their biological families, counseling services provided to the families, including the parents, ongoing protective services in the home, placement in foster homes and treatment while children are in foster homes, placement in adoptive homes, also group home and residential treatment for children. We also have a program that provides parent aid services to parents who need to improve their parenting skills. And again, that is with the children in their own home. And we're basically helping the parents to become better parents so we don't have to remove their children. We also provide adoption services for children who cannot go back to their own homes.
Now, you deal a lot of times with children that are troubled because of the things that they've gone through, and you offer so much support for the foster parents and the adoptive parents, and I assume that this is part as well of
That's
what
right.
Issue 7 provides, is that the training and the support, so that these people aren't just given a child for adoption that's got a lot of problems and just let out to deal with it as they would.
Yeah, over the year you've seen a number of my staff and a number of our foster parents and adoptive parents here, and that's basically what Issue 7 funds. It's the preparation and the training of those people to be able to take care of children, and that's very important.
Okay, how serious of a problem is this in Stark County?
Well, to give you an idea of the number of reports, in 1993 we had almost 3,500 reports of child abuse and neglect. Also in 1993, we serviced throughout the year approximately almost 10,000 children throughout the year. Presently, we have 738 children in our legal custody. 500 of those children are in foster homes. Also, if I can think here, we placed in 1993 69 children into adoptive homes where they could not go back home. So we don't anticipate those numbers getting any better this year, at least the numbers of the children who are referred to us for child abuse and neglect.
Yeah, so there's quite a number of children, maybe more than people realize, of children that really need help, and maybe I think the key word here is children. It seems like a lot of what you do, I mean, you're supporting the parents, but it's basically the children that
That's
are
right.
getting the rewards of.
The child's best interest is always our goal, and in many cases, reunification of the children with their biological parents is the best goal for the child. And if that's not the case, then we will also look for alternative arrangements for the child, either temporarily or permanently.
Okay, now we've only got about a minute left, but this is what proportion of your fund?
Approximately 37% of our funding to protect abused children comes from the levy. So it is very important.
Okay, and it isn't going to raise our taxes.
Not
it's
at
just
all.
going to just keep providing the services that you have, and the taxes
correct.
will remain the same. So that's Issue 7.
It's Issue 7, the renewal of Stark County's Children's Services Levy. So if people want to know what they can do to help stop child abuse, they can vote for Issue 7.
Okay, if someone has any questions specifically they want to ask you, could they give you a call?
They can call me at 438-8842.
Okay, thanks for coming this evening.
Sure. Thank you.
Next up, we've got more. Stay with us. Our next guest is Susie Thomas, who is the Director of Public Relations at Malone College. And Susie used to do this, and she loves doing this so much that it's her anniversary, and she's here this evening.
I really, really wanted to be on TV, so I came on my anniversary.
Okay, you're here to talk about the
pumpkin hunt.
The pumpkin hunt.
The Great Pumpkin Hunt.
Okay, you want to tell us about it? When is it?
Right.
Where is
Well,
it?
the Great Pumpkin Hunt is being held on Malone College campus on October the 29th. It's going to be, that's a Saturday, from 10 to about noon. Some of the activities might not really wrap up until about 12:30, but it's basically 10 to noon on Saturday morning. And the doors will open at 9. We're having all kinds of great entertainment for the kids. And basically, the reason that we're doing this is that we want to offer the Malone College campus as a safe and a fun alternative to the traditional trick-or-treating activities. This is not a Halloween party. It's a costume harvest party.
Okay.
And so that's what we're up to. But we've got, starting at 10 o'clock, Tim Angeloni is going to be doing his magic and illusions and everything.
He's good.
He's amazing.
He's real good.
Really, really good. And then at following Tim will be Lance Wyrick and also his partner, and they are jugglers. And these guys are unbelievable. I mean, first of all, you see Tim take people apart, and you think, how does he do that? And then we'll have Lance juggling, and I've seen Lance juggle beanbag chairs.
Oh,
and yes, and you think, yeah, I know. You think he's kidding. You know, he says, well, the people in the back can't really see. Can I have something a little larger? And the guy drags out beanbag chairs, and you think, ha, 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 big joke. And then he proceeds to juggle the beanbag chairs. So it's just unbelievable.
Kids will like that.
I think they will, and I think the parents will really enjoy it too. That's right. So once that's over, Around 11 o'clock or so, 11:15, we'll be having the costume judging, and Captain Invader from the Canton Invaders will be our special guest celebrity judge. And Doug Lane, I should say, from WHBC, is going to be emceeing and hosting for the day. So there will be prizes for everybody, though. Everyone who attends and participates will get something. So we want to be able to go out into the lounge area of the barn, and I should say that this all takes place in the Randall Campus Center, which is a renovated barn. And so it's just perfect for a pumpkin hunt. So
okay, and the costumes, I'll give the kids a tip, need to be non-scary.
Non-scary. If you want to win, wear a non-scary costume. That's right. Get creative, because it's kind of more fun that way anyway.
Now, how about refreshments?
Refreshments are going to be downstairs in the lower level of the Randall Campus Center, which we call Froggy's Cafe, and they can have hot chocolate and cider, and we've got pumpkin cutout cookies. There are piñatas. There are pictures with the Great Pumpkin. You can go outside. Then we've got a real horse and wagon hay rides going around the campus. And then we've turned, for the day, the Herbert W. Hoover Courtyard is being turned into a pumpkin patch. So there'll be pumpkins out there to take home with you.
This is great. Obviously, there has to be a charge for this. So how much does this cost?
Okay, the charge is $5 per child, but we do have a family rate of $15. So if you have more than 3 children in a family, you won't go broke coming to something like this. But it's a fun day, and I think everyone will feel that they've really gotten their money's worth with just the entertainment and all of the snacks and treats and fun for the day.
Now, I've seen publicity about this, and you know there's a lot of children in Stark County, and this sounds awfully fun. Do people need to register in advance?
I think it's really smart to try and get your tickets ahead of time.
There's a limited
Yes,
number?
there are. There's limited seating, and this is a very popular event. We've been doing this for several years now. We've got hundreds and hundreds of children. We really, inside the Stewart Room, can only seat a certain number, so please, 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 if you're planning on coming, please call and get your tickets early. And let me tell you how to do that.
I was just
call the campus.
See, you're so good.
Oh, well, no. Call 471-8235 or 471-8240, and we will make sure that you get some tickets.
Okay, and it's $5 for the children. Now, if you bring your children, can you just drop them off if you've got tickets?
No, please stay with your children. We do need the kids to be accompanied, but there is no charge for adults. So think the adults get a day of entertainment. They can also have a cookie and a glass of hot chocolate, whatever they'd like, and they don't have to pay anything. But it's the children that we're charging for. And also, we do, with that family rate of $15, that was to give a break to the larger families. But please don't gather up all the kids in the neighborhood, put them in a van, and come on the family rate. The family rate is for brothers and sisters.
Okay, so it just doesn't include all the neighbor kids?
No, or cousins. Right? We're going brothers and sisters as a family.
Okay, and we've got 30 seconds left, so what's that phone number? One more
Okay, 471-8235, 471-8240. I want to thank our sponsors, Amera Mortgage, WHBC Radio, Hartville and Oakwood Square IGAs, and London's Candy.
Okay, great. Thanks for coming this evening.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Natalie Gelfo with the calendar of events. Stay with us. Next up is Natalie Gelfo, filling in for Pat Anderson. Welcome back, Natalie.
Thank you. Miriam Hall, licensed independent social worker from Doctors Hospital, will be delivering a talk on stress and depression to the Diabetes Education Center Support Group at 10 a.m. Thursday, November 3rd at the center, located at 2860 Lincoln Way East in Perry Township. The talk is free and open to the public. For more information, call 830-2081. Frank Thibault, The Man We Knew, at McKinley Museum is an exhibition of photos and memorabilia that recall the Stark County Natives campaign days and the time served in the U.S. House of Representatives. It will remain on view through November 14th. The museum is at 800 McKinley Monument Drive. Hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 p.m. on Sunday. The museum's number is 455-7043. The Lincoln High School classes of 1965 and 66 are planning their 30-year reunion for August 4th and 5th of 1995. If you are a graduate of either class and have moved since the last reunion, or know of someone who has, please call Dave Szymanski at 484-4826. To volunteer or receive information about the Stark County's free adult services, call In Alliance 823-0560, in Canton 456-9590, or in Massillon at 830-1836. The Quail Hollow State Park Camera Club meet the second and fourth Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Mansion. Guests are welcome. Meetings feature programs of instruction and entertainment. For more information, call 877-6652 or 452-8085. I Can Cope, a series of educational classes for people facing cancer, will be at 5:30 p.m. each Monday at Timken Mercy Medical Center office building on the second floor. The weekly sessions will run through November 21st. I Can Cope is a co-sponsored by Timken Mercy and the American Cancer Society. For more information, call Timken Mercy Cancer Research Office at 489-1274. On November 20th, Sounds of Silence Choir from Southgate School are in concert with the Singing Angels Children's Choir at Grace United Methodist Church, located at 1720 Schneider Street, Northwest in North Canton, at 7 p.m. A free will offering will be taken. The event is sponsored by the youth groups of the church. For more information, contact Leland Spencer at 499-3860. The 23rd Annual Chris Kindle Mart will be November 11th through the 13th at the Cultural Center for the Arts. The Fine Arts and Crafts Show will be including paintings, folk art, leather, fabric art, photography, pottery, furniture, Christmas ornaments and decorations, sculpture, glass, jewelry, and weaving. The Kickoff Luncheon and Style Show will be November 11th at 11:30 a.m. Hours for the Fine Arts and Crafts Show will be on the 11th and 12th, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on the 13th will be 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Admission at the door is $4, and tickets can be purchased in advance for $3, and tickets are $3 for senior citizens and children, ages 6 to 12. Sponsoring the event is the Canton Fine Arts Associates to benefit Canton Museum of Art. For more information, contact Jan Stiles at 453-7666. High school students may get a preview of college life by attending one of the 5 academic discovery days offered at Kent State University during the present school year. The on-campus visitation program is open to college transfer students, high school juniors and seniors, and their parents. The visitation dates are November 15th, December 8th, March 24th, and April 28th. Each program includes an admissions presentation, an opportunity to meet representatives of academic departments and student services, tours of the campus and residence halls, and the opportunity to attend a college class. Reservations should be made at least 1 week in advance. For more details and reservations, call the admissions office toll free at 1-800-988-5368. If you're a nonprofit club or organization and would like to appear on What's Happening in Stark County, simply write us at CTC P.O. Box 8335, Canton, Ohio 44711, or call us at 493-8925. What's Happening is broadcast Tuesdays at 6 p.m. and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. on Warner Cable Channel 11, and Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on Massillon Cable Channel 50. And that's it.
Thanks, Natalie. Great job. Mm-hmm. All of us here at the CTC would like to extend our sympathy to our good friend and cameraman Roger Davis on the death of his father. That wraps up another edition of What's Happening in Stark County. Thanks for joining us.